Hi, how are you doing? This is Mark, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about an experience I had on my mission and how later on I learned that something I was teaching wasn't very accurate. So I need to set the story straight. Now, I hate to eat crow. Everyone hates to be able to, think something's true and tell everybody it's true, and then find out that what they were telling them was wrong. It wasn't quite correct. And in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormon church that I was a member of, you were taught, do not teach false doctrine. It was all about teach the truth and make sure you don't teach false doctrine. So I brought my laptop here to show you a couple pictures here that are on the internet. So I went on my mission in 1975, and at the time they were called flip books, and they had pictures of different images as we told the stories. And the very first thing that we taught was the Joseph Smith first vision story, and then the second thing we taught was about the angel Moroni coming to Joseph Smith and telling him about some gold plates that were hidden in a hill not far from his home in upstate New York, and that these gold plates had been placed there by ancient prophets who had lived on the American continent, that were the descendants who came from Israel. And so we told this story, and then the angel, over a period of time, had him eventually remove the plates, these gold plates, and then translated the plates. So in the discussions, in the flip chart, we said, and this is literally the words we use, because the discussions were rote at the time. It was exactly word perfect what you were supposed to say. They've changed that since, but the thing we had to say is, he translated the Book of Mormon by the power and gift of God. And let's see. That is the picture that was on my flip chart, showing Joseph Smith. I hope you can see it okay. Showing Joseph Smith sitting down, looking, writing on the paper, looking at the gold plates and translating them. They were supposedly written in Reformed Egyptian and made of gold that had been scratched in these characters. So anyway, that's what I believed. It's what I've been taught. I was born in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the Book of Mormon was a big deal. This record written in this continent, so by ancient prophets. As time went on, I came back from my mission, and I served various callings in the church. I was Actually, I was a stake missionary, is what they called it later on, and then I became, with a 70, they don't have 70s anymore, I became that, and I became the instructor for that. Then later I was a young men's president, and then, then I was in the bishopric. I was the first counselor in the bishopric, and then after that, I taught seminary, and then after that, I taught Institute of Religion. Now, seminary was for the youth that were high school age, and it's literally like a course. The Institute is college level, and some of what I taught was church history, which included the Book of Mormon story. And the only difference in the story was that it was taught that he had a scribe. And so here is Joseph Smith translates the gold plates. This is the an official site of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it is churchofjesuschrist.org. And here is a picture. Joseph Smith translates. There you go. Joseph Smith translates the gold plates. And I scroll down. Here's a picture. He's studying these gold plates carefully. And behind there is the scribe, because the scribe, no one was allowed to actually look at the gold plates. They were supposed to be kept from him. So this is the current picture that they're using as an image. Now, of course, I know these are artist renditions, but you would think that if the church is trying to teach the truth, they're going to be as true to what it was as possible. Now, one of the things we had learned was that the gift and power of God, and I learned this on my mission, were that he did it with what was called the Urim and Thummim. And this was a breastplate, and then these kind of spectacle kind of things that he put on, and that was put on his eyes, and that was so that he could translate the characters. And I believe that, and I was taught that. I went through, in church, we had the sacrament meeting where you, of course, do speakers, and then we would have Sunday school where you have a class, and every 4 years you'd have church history, and then also you'd have your priesthood meeting classes. So a lot of classes and a lot of instruction manuals. And it always taught it this way, that he did it by the Urim and Thummim. They did talk about the divider wall being between the two. It wasn't taught the way we taught as a missionary, but we thought, okay, milk before meat, so we didn't teach it that exactly. But this is the way I knew it. So I didn't miss church. I was probably 99% attending church. I did it all the time. I had church callings that required me to be there. And so, and I was reading and I was studying and I was trying to learn about church history from the church, the approved church materials. In fact, they warned us about going to anti-Mormon, they warned us about going to anti-Mormon sites, in other words, sites that taught anything different than what the church taught. So years go by. I mean, a lot of years go by. I'm now in my 40s. And at this point, I had gotten into my 40s, mid-40s, approaching 50. And lo and behold, what do I discover? But that some of this so-called anti-Mormon literature that claimed that he had found these seer stones, he'd found these rocks in a well, these little rocks, and he had put them in a hat and translated them that way. It turned out that was true. And the church verified, yeah. In fact, the church has the stones. They, not very long ago, a few years ago, they actually showed pictures of them. They have them in their possession. The stones that he used. So that is more accurate way that it happened. So he's looking into a hat, and he described that he would look into a hat, get deep enough into the hat that to see these glowing letters that would show up on the rock. So you had to get the light out so that it would be dark. So he's looking inside of a hat with the stones inside that hat. And then the scribe isn't supposed to be able to see the Book of Mormon, so the Book of Mormon is covered. Or there might be a curtain between the two. In this picture, he's not looking at the Book of Mormon at all. He's looking into a hat, and the words are on a hat. That's not translating. The words are coming inside the hat. Now, some people have said he put the Book of Mormon in that. No. That's not true. It was the rocks inside the hat, these two seer stones. That's not what I had understood. All of these years, I didn't know that. Well, how didn't I know that? How in the world could someone who has all these lesson manuals I've gone through, teaching seminary, teaching institute, teaching Sunday school classes, and I didn't know this? How did I not know this? Because it was buried. The church didn't tell you. Okay? So, I understand milk before meat. When do I get the meat? I guess that's my question. So I guess it's time I eat crow on this. If he translated it, I taught wrong to anyone who I taught as a missionary that he did it by the gift and power of God. Well, maybe if it's even true, if that's a true story. However, the picture that I showed on the flip chart to you was inaccurate. It was deceptive. And I was taught to be honest. That's a really important thing. And my integrity is on the line here. So anyone who I taught the church to right back in the 70s, a lot of them are probably gone now. Well, that's not the way it happened. Sorry about that. I didn't know myself. The way it happened was more like that. If that's a true story. Because the jury's still out on that one.